After my ex-girlfriend broke up with me, I found out she had cheated on me. Then the guy she left me for ended up treating her the same way she treated me. I'm a 24-year-old guy, and I've been dating my girlfriend, Sarah, who's 23, for about a year and a half. Things were really good in the beginning, but recently, Sarah's been acting more possessive and jealous. It started with small things like her getting upset if I liked another girl's pictures on Instagram. I'd always reassure her that she was the only one for me, but then it got worse. Whenever I mentioned a female coworker or a friend, Sarah would get suspicious and accuse me of cheating or wanting to cheat. Even though I told her many times that she had nothing to worry about, the accusations kept coming. The final straw was a couple of weeks ago. I work as an accountant, and I had to work late nights on a big project with a coworker named Lisa. We were trying to finish the project, and Sarah got really upset about it. Since Lisa and I were spending so much time working closely together, we decided to take lunch breaks together to give ourselves a break from the project. The first time we went for lunch, it was nice to chat about things unrelated to work for a while. When I got home, I told Sarah about my day, including having lunch with Lisa. But Sarah got really mad right away, accusing me of cheating on her and saying it was inappropriate. I tried to reassure her once again that Lisa was just a coworker and nothing more, but Sarah wouldn't calm down. She told me I couldn't have lunch with Lisa anymore. I thought this was unfair and unreasonable, so I told her so. She wouldn't take back what she said, insisting that it was disrespectful for me to have lunch with another woman. The next day, I went for lunch with Lisa again. I didn't feel like I needed Sarah's permission to have a meal with someone from work. When I got home, Sarah was furious, saying I betrayed and disrespected her. I got upset too, telling her she was acting crazy and trying to control me. This turned into a big fight, with Sarah demanding I stop seeing Lisa outside of work, and me refusing to let her control who I spend time with. In the following week, the tension between Sarah and me just kept getting worse. Every little thing would make her upset, especially when it came to Lisa or other women from work. One night, she even drove to my office after hours to make sure I wasn't out with Lisa. I told her that her obsessive behavior had to stop, or we were finished. Sarah promised she'd try to work on her jealousy, but soon enough, she was back to accusing me and yelling about Lisa. I decided I couldn't take it anymore. I told Sarah we were breaking up because she didn't trust me and kept making unreasonable demands about who I could talk to. She cried and promised to change, but I had made up my mind. I moved out right away and stayed with a friend. Now some of Sarah's friends and a few of mine think I was too harsh and should have given her another chance. Update: I didn't expect my last post to get so much attention. Thanks to everyone who shared their thoughts. After reading your comments, I see I could have handled the breakup better instead of just ending things abruptly in the middle of an argument. Despite the passage of time, I'm still firm in my decision to end things with Sarah due to her controlling behavior and jealousy. It's been around 6 weeks since our breakup, and I'm still crashing at my friend's place while I search for a new apartment. Sarah tried to reach out a few times during the first week, but I chose not to respond. I didn't see the point. However, something happened recently that's been weighing heavily on my mind. Sarah's friend, Jen, got in touch with me and insisted on meeting in person to discuss something important. We met at a coffee shop after I finished work, and Jen seemed nervous and hesitant. Eventually, she gathered the courage to tell me the truth. Sarah was the one who had been cheating on me. Apparently, Sarah had reconnected with her ex-boyfriend, Tyler, on social media a couple of months ago. They started talking more and more, eventually meeting up and hooking up multiple times over the past 6 to 8 weeks. I was completely shocked. I never would have guessed that Sarah was capable of cheating. Jen said Sarah confessed everything to her the day after our breakup. It's a tough situation to be in. Sarah claimed she still loved me but got carried away with getting back together with her ex Tyler. The hardest part is that Tyler is the guy Sarah dated just before me, and she always talked about him as her first real love. Their breakup was tough because Tyler had to move away for grad school. Knowing that Sarah was sleeping with Tyler while accusing me of cheating with Lisa makes me feel sick. It all makes sense now why she was so quick to judge me for having lunch with a coworker while she was reconnecting with her ex. She was projecting her own guilt onto me. She manipulated me into thinking I was wrong, when all along, she was betraying me. I can't believe Sarah made me feel so awful while she was the one betraying me. If I had known the truth sooner, I would have ended things right away instead of trying to reassure her. I feel stupid for not realizing something was off these past few months. Jen apologized for not telling me earlier but said she felt loyal to her friend. At first, Jen thought I deserved to know the truth, especially since Sarah was trying to get back together with me. Jen agreed that Sarah's actions were really unfair and I had every right to end the relationship. Now I'm thinking about whether I should talk to Sarah to hear her side of the story. Part of me wants to be mature and not stoop to her level, but I also feel hurt and disrespected. I want to tell Sarah how I feel about her cheating. My friend thinks I should text Sarah something like, "Jen told me everything." I can't believe you cheated while accusing me of cheating. You're not who I thought you were, and this confirms I made the right decision to break up with you. Please don't contact me again. That might make me feel better, but I'm not sure if it's the best way for me to move forward. If I were to talk to Sarah again after ignoring her messages before, it might seem like I'm falling into her trap. Maybe the best way to handle this is to focus on living well and not letting Sarah affect me anymore. What do you all think? Should I talk to Sarah and get my feelings off my chest, or should I choose not to respond and take the higher road? This new information changes things a lot. Let me know what you think I should do. Update 2. Hi everyone, it's been a few months since I last updated you. I've moved into my own place and settled into a routine. Life has been pretty calm until this week when I heard from Sarah unexpectedly. On Tuesday night, she called me in tears, asking for my help. Sarah explained that Tyler had stolen money from her and disappeared. Right after Sarah and I broke up, Tyler convinced her to move in with him. They got an apartment the next month and things were great at first. But Tyler started taking advantage of her. He would forget his wallet and make Sarah pay for everything. At first, she didn't mind, wanting to be nice since he was her boyfriend. But then Tyler's financial requests got bigger and bigger. Tyler started asking Sarah to cover his half of the rent and bills because he said he lost his job. Then he began requesting big amounts of money for car repairs, medical bills, and other emergencies. Sarah gave him thousands of dollars over the past few months, using up most of her savings. Sometimes she felt unsure about it, but Tyler always promised to pay her back. He'd say the money was for important stuff or that he just needed help getting through a tough time. Sarah still felt bad about how things ended between us, so she wanted to help Tyler as much as possible. But Tyler never gave her back any of the money. Then things got worse when Sarah saw her credit card statement this week. There were 2 cash withdrawals totaling $5,000 that she didn't make. When she asked Tyler about it, he said he didn't know anything and claimed someone must have stolen the card. Sarah thought it was suspicious because of the timing and the large amounts. She kept pushing Tyler for the truth, and he finally admitted he took the cash without asking. And it wasn't for an emergency but for his gambling debts. Tyler had gotten deeply involved in sports betting and owed money to dangerous people. Sarah was furious and kicked him out immediately, but the next day she discovered that Tyler had emptied their joint bank account, taking nearly $2,000 more. He clearly planned it out, knowing Sarah would end things. Then he blocked her on all platforms and vanished. None of their friends have heard from him or know where he went. Sarah is scared that Tyler might have taken even more money and is now hiding to avoid paying it back. That's why she called me, hoping for advice or assistance in dealing with the police and getting her money back. I admit, I felt like hanging up or telling her she deserved it, but I stayed on the line and gave her some practical tips. I advised her to contact her banks and report the unauthorized withdrawals to stop them from accumulating interest. I suggested she should also inform the police about the theft and see if they can track down Tyler. Besides that, I recommended she find ways to secure her credit and accounts so Tyler can't keep taking advantage of her. By the end of our call, Sarah was really thankful for my help. I made it clear to Sarah that I have no desire to get back together after how she treated me. But her situation with Tyler is really concerning, so I couldn't just turn my back on her completely. Sarah apologized again for everything and insisted she never saw Tyler's betrayal coming. Now I'm feeling conflicted about Sarah reaching out to me. On one hand, I'm glad I could offer her some practical advice for dealing with Tyler's actions. It shows I'm making better choices for myself. But on the other hand, I worry that by helping Sarah, I might be encouraging her bad decisions. My friend thinks I should keep my distance and let Sarah handle things on her own. He believes I've already spent too much time and energy dealing with her drama. However, other friends think I did the right thing by helping Sarah in a tough situation. They say I shouldn't let bitterness stop me from being kind. What do you all think? Was I being too trusting by being there for Sarah when she needed support? Should I reduce contact with her again, or should I continue to offer help if she needs it? I thought I had moved on, but this situation has brought back old feelings and doubts. Any advice would be appreciated. Let's move on to the next story. Story 2. Leaving my 3-year-old daughter behind because I failed in life. I recently got some tough news from my doctor. I have stage 4 lung cancer and only have a few months left to live. I started smoking when I was 15 and ended up smoking 3 packs a day a few years ago. It was a dumb decision, but I never thought it would catch up to me so soon. I don't want anyone to feel sorry for me. The only thing I regret is leaving behind my 3-year-old daughter. I don't have any family because I grew up in foster care and aged out when I turned 18. My daughter's father is in prison for serious crimes, so even if he were released, he couldn't be a part of her life. We live in a rough neighborhood, and when I go to work, I have to leave my daughter with an elderly neighbor who always gets her name wrong. Every day I worry about my daughter ending up like me, growing up in the foster care system. I feel like my own mistakes, along with not having a family to support me, led me to this point. I know it's not just one thing that caused my problems, but having someone to rely on could have made things better. All I want is to give my daughter a better chance at life than I had. I have an idea about who could take care of my daughter after I'm gone. One of my best friends from work is really great. Even though my job is not very secure, she's a top employee and earns a lot of money. She has a loving family, including a husband and a child of her own. I want to ask her if she'd be willing to adopt my daughter when I'm no longer here. But I know it won't be easy. My friend and her family are black, while my daughter and I are white. Our appearance is very different. We both have blue eyes and don't tan well. It would be tough for my friend and her family to handle the challenges that come with adopting a child of a different race. But if I don't ask my friend, my daughter might end up growing up like me, in a tough system with little support. All I have to leave for her is about $1,000 and a necklace from my mother. I'm not sure if I should take the risk and ask my friend to adopt my daughter, or if I should focus on trying to save more money for her in my will. Either way, I feel like I've failed as a mother, and it's a regret I'll carry with me forever. Edit. I've reached out to my friend, and we've set up a meeting at a simple and inexpensive bakery where we can sit down and talk. I'm going to ask her if she can adopt my daughter. If she says no, I'll have more time to explore other options like adoption agencies nearby. Thanks for your support, everyone. Update 1. I'm back. A day after my post, I met up with my friend and coworker. I shared my diagnosis with her, something I haven't told anyone else at work, and then I asked her if she would consider adopting my daughter. She was surprised and offered me comfort about my situation, but she needed time to think about it. It turns out she and her husband had hoped for a daughter, but something went wrong during her second pregnancy. She wants to consider adoption, but she needs to discuss it with her husband first. I understand it's a big decision for their family. After our meal, my friend gave me a hug and said she'll miss me. It got emotional and I ended up crying too. Inspired by the suggestion from Bundy's playbook, I started creating an email account for my daughter and recording videos for her. It's a work in progress, but I've already started planning for her birthdays and important life events like first crushes, prom, and first job. Sadly, I realized that most of my advice in these videos will be don't do what I did. A few days ago, my friend reached out to me. She said that after discussing it with her husband, they're both considering adopting my daughter. They have a process where they discuss big decisions, come to an agreement, and then wait a while. If there's still an agreement, they move forward. However, she made it clear that it's not a definite yes yet. They have some concerns they want to address first. They both really like the idea, but they don't know much about my daughter. Her husband and their 6-year-old son haven't even met her, and while my friend has heard about her from me, it's not the same as seeing her. So my friend shared a plan they came up with. For the rest of this month, I'll need to wake up 2 hours earlier than usual to drop off my daughter at their house. Her husband will be working from home and can look after her while I go to work with my coworker. This way, her husband and son can spend time getting to know my daughter. My friend also mentioned that she wants us to celebrate Christmas with them in the future, which is something to look forward to. We started this plan yesterday, and when I went to pick up my daughter, she was the happiest I've seen her in a long time. My friend's husband mentioned that they got off to a rough start. My daughter seemed scared at times and wasn't keen on playing with their son initially. However, he believes she'll improve over time. Today, they spent time together again, and he said she mostly watched their son play, but it was already better than yesterday. Right now, I'm worried that this effort might not lead to anything, but at least for now, my daughter is having a better time at their house. Even if they ultimately say no, she'll already have some positive memories from being there. Comments where OP has replied. Plory A. Sending you lots of love. I hope you enjoy your time with your daughter and find peace knowing she's with a caring family. Even if things don't work out, you're doing your best for her future. About the email, it's a good idea to make backups. I use an email for receiving only, and recently got a message saying it might be closed due to an activity. So make sure to keep backups to avoid losing any videos. OP. Thanks, I'll definitely do backups of the videos. If my friend agrees to adopt my daughter, I'll let her know about the email situation to prevent any loss. I'd hate for all those memories to disappear before my daughter can see them. Dark Recess. I may be just someone you've met online, but as a mom myself, I'm really proud of you. You may not have much, but you're putting everything you have into taking care of your daughter, and that's what makes you a great mom. I have a suggestion to add to the email idea. If you can, write down your favorite recipes on some loose sheets of paper or a small notebook. Include all the special touches that make them uniquely yours. That way, one day your daughter can proudly say she's making her mom's food. Also, jot down little happy moments and memories you experienced during this time, but write them in your own handwriting, not in an email. These handwritten notes will be something she treasures in the years to come, and they'll serve as a tangible connection to you. Include things like your favorite places to go, favorite colors, favorite music, and other little details about yourself. These little pieces of you will be something she can hold on to when things get tough. Sending you all my love, OP. OP. I was thinking about writing a letter for my daughter's 13th birthday. The only thing I have from my mom is this necklace that's been with me. It's quite intricate, with lots of curls and hoops, and a beautiful, almost clear stone in the middle. I thought about writing a letter explaining that the necklace is from her grandmother, and now that she's old enough, it's going to be hers. I also have recipes she loves. That's a great idea. She really enjoys my egg salad sandwiches, so I'll definitely include that recipe. Thanks for the suggestion. Update 2. My friend shared her family's decision, and unfortunately, I lost my job on January 20th, 2024. I'm sorry for disappearing for so long. A lot has happened, and this will be my final post, so I'll share everything. First, I started feeling really sick days after Christmas. My chest was hurting a lot, like someone was hitting it with a hammer repeatedly, and I was coughing up blood. My best friend was terrified that I caught something serious because the doctor said getting sick right now could be deadly, so we had to see a doctor. Thankfully, it wasn't anything contagious. It was just my symptoms getting worse. Also, fortunately, I was still employed at the time, so I didn't have to worry too much about medical bills. Yeah, something else awful happened to me recently. After my hospital visit, my workplace called me in for a private chat. Remember how I mentioned that I'd likely be the first to go if something happened? Well, turns out I was right. The bosses explained that they couldn't keep me on because of my illness. They said it wouldn't be fair to my coworkers since my condition was slowing me down and making them work harder. I know I've been causing more problems since my diagnosis, but I didn't expect my coworkers to complain about me to the bosses. I feel so stupid for not realizing it sooner. I had hoped to stay until the end of the month so I could pay my apartment rent. I barely had enough money for bills, rent, groceries, transportation, and hospital bills. This is where my best friend, who used to work with me, comes in. After taking care of my daughter for a few weeks and spending a major holiday with them, she and her husband agreed to adopt her. She shared some of her plans with me, and I agreed that it's probably best for my daughter to move in with them. She asked me why, and I explained that I got fired from work, and I wouldn't be able to take care of both of us with so little money. She suggested that we both move in with them. They have plenty of guest rooms to choose from. I tried to refuse because her family was already doing so much for us, and I felt like this was asking too much. But she insisted that I could be a big help to them during my last months. Her husband could use some assistance with my daughter while he works. I can also help them decorate and set up my daughter's new room, and I can show them the foods she likes to eat. So I promised not to be a burden to them, and we're working hard to get all the necessary paperwork ready for the adoption. Plus, living there could help my daughter feel more comfortable in her new home. And guess what? Her family is quite wealthy. They even have a personal family lawyer. When I haven't been feeling sick, we've been working with him to ensure that the adoption process goes smoothly. After all that, I want to share some happy news. Christmas with them was probably the best one my daughter and I have ever had. My friend's family had 5 Christmas trees in their house. Thanks to my friend, I was able to make a special Christmas gift for my daughter, a Build-A-Bear bunny. I recorded a message for her inside, telling her how much I love her and will always keep her safe. My friend knows about the emails. I'm almost done with them, just a few more to go. I gave her the password to both the email and this Reddit account so she can delete this account when I'm gone. I've been getting a lot of messages lately, and I don't want people messaging me after I'm gone. About the messages I've received since my last update, apparently my story was shared on TikTok. It's cool and weird at the same time. I've had so many people reaching out to me, wanting to talk. It's funny how it happens once I'm dying. KH. I want to thank those who offered to adopt my little girl if my friend said no. Thankfully, my friend did say yes. But if you're still interested in adopting, please reach out to a foster care system in your state. There are still children struggling in the system, going through what I did. Give those kids the chance at a life I never had. Some people have offered to send me money to help, but I'm sorry, I can't accept it. It feels strange accepting money. Throughout my life, I've worked hard for everything I've had, so it feels wrong taking money and help from strangers just because I'm dying. I also want to address some messages I've received about race. Some people question why I cared about the difference in race between my friend's family and my daughter and me. A few even called me a racist for worrying about it. I want to clarify that my concern isn't because I think my daughter and I are better than my friend because we're white. It's far from that. I've seen a lot of things in the foster care system and talked with kids of different races. They shared their struggles with me, like facing discrimination from their foster parents and others outside. One kid even told me about getting yelled at by someone at a restaurant, and it turned into a big fight. I was worried that my friend's family and my daughter might face similar bigotry, but I can't let my fears about some bigots ruin my daughter's chances. Anyway, this will probably be my last post here. I don't want to waste my remaining days. I've been thinking about taking up painting again. I used to paint when I was in high school before I dropped out. There was a classic book we read in school about a world where books were banned. I don't remember much from that story, but the ending always stuck with me. It said, "You don't waste life when you create something to leave behind." That resonated with me. I want to paint something, a piece of art that my friend could hang up or keep in their attic. As long as I've left something behind, my life wasn't for nothing, right? I also need to help my friend's family and my daughter settle into their new lives. Thank you to everyone for your kindness, and goodbye. Additional information from OP on her other family members not taking her daughter. My father is in prison for a very long time because he committed a crime involving children. Even if he got out, he wouldn't be allowed around her, and I wouldn't want him to be. My parents are dead.